But don't forget, you can watch us too. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV, and you should do that because we've got the Miss Mississippi's Teen 2025, was just crowned in Vicksburg. I want to say last week or the week before, but she's Madison County teen Miss Avery McNair, and she joins us today. So welcome and congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so when was your crowning date?
It was April 27th.
All right, so now maybe, math is hard, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Close enough.
Close enough. All right, well, congratulations. And I know you have hit the ground running in terms of what your reign will be for the next year.
Yes.
But what inspired you to get involved with the Miss Mississippi's Teen organization?
Yes, ma'am. So I basically grew up watching the pageant, but I really had a first-hand experience with it. When I was about 9 years old, I was involved in the Alpha program, and my teacher was Miss Dana Roberts, and her daughter was Hannah Roberts. And she was crowned Miss Mississippi in 2015, and she was first runner-up at Miss America 2016. Wow. So she has been one of my role models, but I actually went to her autograph party before she went and competed and won, and I showed up and I showed out in my sparkly dress, and she put her crown on my head, and I knew that I wanted to be the Hannah for someone else one day. And so I'm excited to do that this year.
So this is your year. Is this your first year competing for Miss Mississippi's Teen?
It's my second.
So it's your second.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And this year you're actually a senior. So congratulations.
Yes,
When's graduation for you?
Tomorrow.
Wow. Okay. It's a big week for you.
Very big week.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to get used to sort of juggling all of the events and life changes and things, but I think you're going to do fine. One thing I love about the Miss America organization for Miss Mississippi's Teen and Miss Mississippi is you guys have your community service initiative. We talked to a lot of ladies here, and I just want to keep, putting a light on the fact that you guys put a lot of good stuff back into the community, whether you win the crown or not, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And each one is so unique and individual. So tell us about your community service initiative.
Yes, ma'am. So mine is Let's All Be Prepared. I've partnered with the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, and in 2015, my house and seminary was hit by an EF2 tornado, and thankfully we were not very prepared, but we were safe, and so we had a plan set in place in the crazy case that it would happen again, and it did. In 2020, an EF4 tornado destroyed that same house. And so I knew that I wanted to travel the state one day and talk to mainly kids, but really everybody about how we can stay storm ready because, here in Mississippi, we experience a lot of unprecedented weather, and a lot of people aren't prepared and they don't realize how important that is. And so I've made it my job, not only as Miss Madison County's teen and Miss Mississippi's teen, but as Avery to go and help these people not only change their lives, but save them.
Okay, but girl, are you a tornado magnet or what?
I like to tell myself so, unfortunately.
I saw that, yeah. No, and that's sometimes you just have to laugh because what else are you going to do at that point? But I love that you've taken this opportunity, and you're right, so much of it is we can't predict the weather, but we can be prepared. And you have been a spokesperson for MEMA here lately. What are some of those tips, Avery, that you tell specifically teens that may not necessarily take the weather seriously because they don't know how to or when to. They look to their parents to do that. But hopefully they'll go back home and tell their parents, this is what we need to be doing when we have tornado warnings or events.
Well, I have these main points of you need to find your safe space in your own home, or like a lot of people in Mississippi live in mobile homes, and that's one of the main questions I get asked is, what do I do if I live in a mobile home? And I always tell someone to be prepared and kind of look in advance at the weather of what it's going to be for the week maybe or for that day, and have a plan in place and have someone else's house you can go to or another safe space. And I always talk about my little go-go bag, and it's something you can take with you in your car or you can have it in your safe space, and it should have at least 3 days worth of food, water, and extra supplies like chargers or batteries. Or I always keep my little brother Tanner, his stuffed animal was in there when he had it in our first tornado, so you can have a little keepsake in there as well that you might not want to lose. But I always preach having the safe space and the go-go bag, but my favorite line to tell people, and they always go home and tell their mom and dad, is when thunder roars, go indoors.
Oh, you need to add to put on your good bra. Avery, you probably won't be telling kids that, but I grew up from the era where my mom was like, if it's tornado warnings, you put on good underwear, clean underwear, and a good bra because you don't want to be that person. If and when that was to be, and for you it was twice. So there's your little piece of tidbit you can add to it to the right audience next time, and please use that on the Miss America or the Miss Teen America stage. No, don't, probably not. But that is the next step. That I know you will have your duties here in Mississippi for the next year, but the next step for you is kind of looking for that Miss America Teen pageant that will be coming up around the corner. When does that happen for you? Is it around the same time as Miss America, or is it two totally different events?
It'll be the same week. Usually it used to be around New Year's, but this year they've moved it back to September, so it'll be the first week. I think I'll get there August 31st, if I'm not mistaken, and then that whole week will be the teens and the misses competing for the national title.
So how does that change for you? What do you look towards when you start looking towards a national competition versus what you did here in Mississippi?
I mean, I'm kind of already in that mode where I've been working hard this whole year, so why stop now? But one of the main things I promised to myself competing for Miss Mississippi Teen, and I actually talked about this in my Miss Mississippi Teen interview, is that I still wanted to remain 100% authentically Avery, and I don't see that changing. Going to compete for the title of Miss America's Teen, which is still so crazy to say. I can't believe that's coming out of my mouth, but that's one thing I really want to promise and keep that promise to myself, is that regardless of how hard I work in interview or in fitness or evening gown, that I still wanted to represent who Avery is.
So, Avery, you also have your talent, which is?
Yes, I play piano, and I'll be playing Great Balls of Fire.
Oh,
yes.
Is that exciting?
So exciting. I always grew up, I love Top Gun, and so this was just absolutely perfect for me. I mean,
Do you wear the sunglasses during your?
I don't, but I might have to pull
Look
those
at me
out.
giving you
America.
all these tips for
I know.
Miss America. Good bra, sunglasses, all the things.
All the things.
But being memorable for sure. That's definitely a memorable performance. When did you first start playing the piano?
I started when I was about 5 years old. So I played pretty much all my life. But when I did lose my house the second time, that kind of put a stop because I didn't have anywhere to play piano, I guess. And so when we moved into our new house, we had got this whole new keyboard, and my dad can probably attest to this, is that it collected dust for quite some time because I was just, I guess, kind of scared to touch it. I didn't really have anywhere to play it, or I guess a reason to play it. And so getting involved with the Miss Mississippi organization gave me back my why as to why I love to play again, and I've just fallen in love with it in a complete new light.
Do you know what some of your duties will be over the next year here in Mississippi? I know we are looking forward to the Miss America Teen pageant in September, but what will you be doing in and around town and around the state?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get to do a lot more fun interviews like this and make these awesome appearances. I know one of my probably favorites, and this will be hard to beat. I already got to do it. It was my first day on the job. I guess it was last Monday. Me and our current Miss Mississippi, Becky Williams, got to do our little Kendra Scott collection.
Oh, cool.
And I'm wearing my earrings. You just can't see them. But y'all go shop Kendra Scott and support the Miss Mississippi Scholarship Foundation. But that's been so much fun. So just getting to do fun little things like that. And I'm so excited to meet our new Miss, which we'll get in June. And I'm sure I'll travel the state with her.
You'll be back there in Vicksburg as well. You mentioned the Scholarship Foundation. I know that's a big piece of the Miss America organization, is helping you young ladies make it to that next level of education. So you're graduating tomorrow. Yes. So the sign sealed, they're going to deliver that diploma. What's next for you, Avery? Are you going to take a break before starting your higher education, or going straight into the next level?
We're going straight to Mississippi State. Go Dogs. I'm actually the first Miss Mississippi teen to receive a full tuition scholarship at Mississippi State, which I'm completely so thankful for. Plus, I think it was $11,850 just in my 2 years of competing just for Miss Mississippi, which is still so crazy to say, and I'm so thankful for everything. But Miss America is actually the leading scholarship provider in the world for scholarship dollars, and I'm so thankful to be a part of that legacy.
So what are we going to be studying?
I'll be in educational psychology, so I can do speech pathology one day.
Oh, cool. Well, I see here that you are a self-proclaimed mac and cheese expert.
Yes.
I love that. So you got to make sure that you at least try the Eden cheese there on campus. Maybe.
I've actually never tried it. I'm so excited.
Oh, you should definitely make sure you take her out and try that. I don't know how well it would translate into mac and cheese, but it's some of the best cheese here in Mississippi for sure. But what is your best mac and cheese? What makes you an expert in mac and cheese?
I always tell people that I add a little bit of love.
So you make mac and cheese.
Yes.
So you're not an expert
yes.
in terms of just eating it. You're an expert in actually making it. Yes. You make it from scratch, obviously not from the box.
You wouldn't be able to tell a difference, but I do make it from the box. But it was probably the first thing. I kind of taught myself how to cook it in our old house. And then when we lived in our hotel room after we lost our house, I made it there, and then I've just carried it with me wherever I go.
It seems like your whole family has this level of resilience to them, Avery, and I know you'll probably take that into it. What all your family's been through, having this opportunity mean to you? It
means the world, because they really have been my biggest cheerleaders from from little Avery to big Avery now. They've always been there for me, you know, cheering me on the loudest, especially if you were there in Vicksburg. I'm sure you heard them screaming their heads off. I know I did. But I'm so excited to take them with me, you know, on the little endeavors I'll go on this next year, and especially to Miss America. But I really can't tell them thank you enough, especially to my mom and dad, because they are the reason that I'm sitting here with this sash on. Because
we'll all be cheering you loudly come September, Avery, but congratulations, and we'll be keeping up with you. But you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.